Handcuffs are very important to part to law enforcement and security personnel. It helps keep control of a person resisting or fighting law enforcement and security as in public spaces or at the home, apartments, or anywhere where there's a lot of people around. Hi, my name is Andrew Carlson, and today I would like to inform you about when they were first became used, why they are so important, and lastly, how are they used to detain and or arrest the subject. First, handcuffs were originally designed and used around 1850 according to Weapons Universe, but were officially used until 1894 in Britain. The first handcuffs were very complicated and difficult to use. Handcuffs were first used in the United States around 1928, around the Roaring Twenties, in the Great Depression era. Back then, this was according to the Baltimore Police website. Back then, people weren't arrested or even searched in public due to believe that they were too embarrassed to be publicly charged for anything like that. Second, handcuffs are very important because when a person breaks the law and they are placed in handcuffs, they cannot break the law or do anything else or cause harm to anybody else around them. Handcuffs have changed a lot over time. They were first made out of a soft steel or material which was easily breakable. I have pictures that I found that all they have to do is just go like this. They break out of them, and once people break out of their handcuffs, you're pretty much in trouble. Nowadays, according to the handcuff warehouse, the Smith & Wesson handcuffs are made out of a high-quality carbon steel or stainless steel. Once placed on a suspect, the handcuffs are almost impossible to break out of, no matter how strong you are. Handcuffs are very, very tough and reliable for use by law enforcement. Now, I have a pair of handcuffs that I got for practice. These are not the traditional chain ones, so you see sometimes they're chained, but this one is the more hinged one. This is for more combative and resistant people. Lastly, handcuffs or restraints are used when the subject has deemed themselves when they have violated and or broken the law, and as well as when they are a public or law enforcement threat. When the law enforcement decides to use them, what they do is tell them, the suspect, to put their hands behind their back, and they tell them that they are under arrest. And what they do is they put their hands behind their back like this, so they can't do much because you don't want to put handcuffs in front because they can still do harm and grab weapons and stuff. I've seen plenty of times when a person's handcuffed in the front, takes a gun out and starts shooting, or takes a knife out and starts attacking people. Once that person does that, if they comply, the law enforcement officer notifies them that they are under arrest and why. If the law enforcement officer decides to ask questions, that is when they ask them, that's when they read them their Miranda rights. Everybody's heard about it. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed at you. And that's basically the catch-all version of that. Everybody else has a different version of it, but majority of it is what I just said. That part can be tricky though. Sometimes some people complain that they know the law and they weren't read their Miranda rights before questioning. And sometimes they don't really know what the difference is between detaining and arresting. To detain means placed in handcuffs for everyone's safety. Is that because, for an example, might be when officers are called to a party and they put people in handcuffs, they don't really know who's who until they get their story straight, and that's when they decide to let people go or not under further investigation. When they will remain to them, like I said, until law enforcement decides to release them or arrest them for a crime. To conclude, handcuffs have been used a long time and have been used all around the world, and it has been a very crucial and important part to law enforcement. As almost all of law enforcement, they have been argued over and over again for misuse or mistreatment, or they put their handcuffs on too tight or something like that. They are very durable. They are made out of very strong steel, and they are almost impossible to break out of. Like I mentioned earlier, people on the old days used to break out of them. Not in the case anymore. It's almost impossible to break out of. And where I got my information is the history of handcuffs, the weapons website, Smith & Wesson handcuffs, training bulletin, Los Angeles Police Department, mechanics of arrest in the city of Baltimore. Thank you for your time.